Yes, I do think that life for international students is definitely different than domestic students. First of all, they have picked up and left. And as a foreigner myself, I can definitely empathize with them. It is not easy to be all by yourself without family or close friends in a new place, speaking a different language, and trying to adjust to a completely different lifestyle. They don't have the support system in the same city or the next state or even within the same time zone or time zone an hour or two away. They are far away, and it's definitely going to be tougher on them. But therefore, I think they also develop much closer relationships with each other, and their friendships become very meaningful to them. Their new friendships.
Um, everyone is different, and I think that's a really big influence and about how you are gonna adapt in this country. I feel like some student from Latin America probably is easier for us because we are more used to see all the American culture in our countries. But I feel people from probably another continents like Europe or Asia, um, they have to face a completely different culture, and also the language could be a big barrier. And if you don't like, sometimes you can express yourself well. Sometimes you feel insecure, so that's why sometimes it can be hard to have new friends.
So, being an international student means that you are far from home, and I think that this might be the most challenging things to be here. But in somehow, I would say also to get used to your habits that are really different from every other countries in the world. I'm pretty sure that saying that is the personality of the students, of the international student, that might affect most how it how he's relating to the US, like US life, so and how he can adapt to it.
Well, as for me, I think it's different from what other international students feel. Because as an Indian, we have like different cultures that we adapt from compared to what Americans have. So for me, it takes a bit of time to to work on.
I don't feel like the life of an international student is very much different from a normal UK student. I feel like I kind of involve yourself in their own little group, but more or less kind of intermingled with everyone else, and just kind of created this little knit of, everyone hanging out, doing their own thing, and creating new. I think a lot of barriers I face also kind of depend on the nationalities again, because I mean, I know prejudice can come into play, but I know the language barriers are bigger. Concern also is that, if you're transitioning from Chinese to American, that language barrier is much more difficult than Spanish to English. And I just know, seeing all the kind of cultural differences that I've encountered throughout the group, and between German or British, it all just depends where you come from and how your grasp on the American culture and the English language, and kind of how much you know to begin with kind of affects everything around you, whether it be education or what group you fall into or your involvement on the campus.
I do think that some students adapt easier than others, and it can have to do with a lot of different factors. Students who come from international schools and are used to being in a diverse environment and speaking English will, of course, fare much better adjusting to life in the United States. Students who come from more open and social engaged cultures will also have an easier time adapting to life at the University of Kentucky. Students who come from societies that are very different and cultures that are very different from the Western culture that we live in may have a more difficult time getting used to their life on campus.
Riders on the storm, riders on the storm. Into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown. like a dog without a bone, an actor out alone, riders on the storm. There's a killer on the road, his brain is squirming like a toad. J.K.